I've been playing a lot of Vintage Story, and along the way, I've learned a lot of things with a lot of help from you guys. So I just wanted to share some of the things I've learned. Let's get into it. You can throw torches into a fire pit to light them all at once and make this process so much quicker. Once you've found some bauxite gravel, look around. There's a good chance that you'll find a bunch of fire clay on the surface. If you can't find any fire clay, you can make it. Throw some flint into a fire pit, and it'll turn into calcified flint chunks, which you can throw into a quern, and it'll turn it into powdered calcified flint. You don't need it to be automatic like I do, you can just turn it by hand. But with the calcified flint, you can arrange it with some regular clay, it can be blue clay as well, and you can make fire clay. If you see this on pine trees, you can hold right click and then pick it up, and it's used for a lot of crafting recipes. Leave the tree, it will come back in the same spot that you got it from. Resin can't spawn on trees that you have planted, so never harvest these. If you hear this sound nearby, take a look around in the trees. You might just see a beehive. Mark that tree down, and you can use it to make a proper honey farm. Once you've made a new anvil, and you don't need it anymore, don't just chuck it out. Place a chisel directly above it, and you can reclaim some of the materials that went into it. Instead of going into your inventory and swapping out your main hand, you can just scroll over whatever you want in your hotbar and press X. That will switch the items, and now it's in your offhand. If you find bits of ore, dig underneath it. There's a high likelihood that you'll find the ore under it. When blacksmithing, if you have material on the outside, you can press F and upset up to push it back on, so no more materials wasted. You don't have to worry about fire pits burning down your house. Even though you think it would, this will not spread to the wood. And same thing goes for bloomeries. However, keep your pit kilns far away from wood. Most of the time, you do not need iron nails. When a recipe requires nails, most of the time you can just use copper. Copper is so much cheaper, so please don't waste your resources. Once you harvest an animal, make sure to remove the bones. If you leave the bones, a lot of the passive spawns won't spawn in the surrounding areas. Mining straight down is a completely valid option in this game. Lava's super rare, so you don't really have to worry about it. So feel free to dig down at your heart's content. Most of the time you'll find cattails in the water, but you can pick them up and then place them on land. It'll grow all the same. When you find cattails, you should definitely pick them up and place them down back at your base, preferably together. That way you can use a scythe and you can cut them down extremely quickly. There's 3 kinds of infinite light sources. We have an oil lamp. It's very cheap, but it doesn't give off much light. We have a lantern, which gives off plenty of light, but is a bit more expensive. And we have torch holders, and is the middle ground between these two, but it'll keep the torch lit 24/7, so you can use it to light fires. You can also upgrade the lanterns. You can place glass in it, and put a silver plate in it. You should make yourself a wooden pan, and you can go up to sand while you're in water, and that will allow you to find a bunch of random materials that can be inside the sand. There we go, we just got a little bit of zinc, but you can find a whole host of items here, so it's definitely worth trying. When you find abandoned ruins, and you see some bony soil, make sure to dig it up. A lot of the time you'll find some stuff under it. When you're making basements, all the walls should be stone, including the floor and ceiling. You can see right here on the storage vessel, the vegetable perish speed is 0.19x, but if I place a little bit of wood in here, and I go back up to it, it's raised. And the more that I add, the higher it will go. Light that you place down does not affect the perish speed, only sunlight does. Placing that down right next to it had 0 impact on it. You can place 12 fire clay bricks down in a single pit kiln, and it will still light. Bows make killing bears extremely easy. Even if you're not the hunter, you should definitely make yourself one. Extremely worth it. Bow staves take a while to dry, but they dry a lot slower if you put them in containers. So keep them on you, or place it on a rack. It'll make it go so much quicker. Once you're done making a tool and have to wait for it to cool down, you can actually just throw it into some water. It'll make that satisfying sound and almost instantly cool it down. When you're out exploring, make sure to pick up all the berry bushes. Not only will it keep you fed, so you don't have to bring a ton of food from the base, but you can place them down at the base so you'll have a huge amount of passive food coming your way. If you see these bells, they'll make that awful sound, and you want to kill them quickly because they'll be spawning guys on you infinitely. They'll come from all directions. And focusing on the small guys will not fix your problem. So kill them quickly. Or retreat. This right here used to be a forest, but lightning set it on fire, which is why you should make a lightning rod. You place it down, it has a pyramid shape under it, which it can cover, just like the dirt blocks here. It works best 40 blocks are up, and you don't have to place it so close to the building that you're trying to protect. And you should invest into something like this, a path. Grass cannot grow on it like it can with dirt, and fire can spread right through dirt. So having a pathway around your base is a little barrier from fire. However, you could do something like cobblestone or any other blocks that you find that won't catch on fire. Greenhouses do not have to be just for farming. Like right here, I have it for bees. However, you could place a bunch of berry bushes in here or even cattails. It's completely up to you. If you want glass that looks like this, almost completely see-through, but still functions as glass, you take a chisel to this normal glass and you right-click it. It instantly makes it invisible, which in my opinion looks much nicer. Look for a treasure hunter and bring a tin bronze pickaxe. I won't say more about it though. This one's a little PSA for people that haven't been keeping up with the updates. I know I've been a victim of this one too, but tilling the land under wild plants no longer helps. Even if you could till it, it wouldn't give you anything extra. If you hate how bumpy stairs can be, look into chiseling them out. It makes them so much smoother, and you will love it. I know that I like to walk around with a lantern in my offhand, but as you can see here, because of it, my hunger rate is 120%. If I take it off, it is now 100%. So do that at your own peril. During the winter, greenhouses give you this awesome effect, +9 Fahrenheit to greenhouses, which helps against the cold. However, in the summer, it can actually start to give your plants heat damage. And because you can't reclaim farmland, what you can do about this is just poke a hole right into your wall, and in a little bit this will update, so it will no longer be a greenhouse. Get a flax farm up as soon as you can. Do some exploring right away, live off of berries, pick up all the flax, place it down at your house. The more the better. You're gonna need it for windmills, clothing and armor, not to mention healing. So do yourself a favor, get some flax down. You don't want to be caught out in the winter without it. If you want a map to look like mine and enjoy seeing colors and being able to know what blocks are there, so I know that this is generally claystone, make sure to click color accurate world map when creating a new world. Also, while we're here, go to land cover and put it at least at 70% or less. That way you have lakes and oceans in your world. A lot of the new update is water related, so you want to do this. With the metal scraps that you can get from looting ruins, killing enemies, or even panning, you can turn that into a scrap weapon kit by using this recipe right here. You put it in your hand, you hold down right click, and you get a random weapon from it. I got a blade out of it. Its durability is not very high, but its damage is alright. So this could be a good source of weapons if you ever need it. When you're making cooking pots to cook in, make sure to make a couple extra, because there's certain recipes that can ruin the pot for cooking food for you, and you don't want to be left without a pot. So make some extra. Eventually you're gonna need some limestone to start to make leather, and it's incredibly difficult to find if you're unlucky. You can always look around mountains. There's a good chance that you'll find marble. Go and collect said marble and throw it into your quern. It will turn into lime. That's a quick alternative to lime if you can't find some. Health hammers cannot make tools, but you can have it make a plate. Then when the plate is done, you can make a lot of things a lot easier. So if you want to make some chains or something, all you gotta do is just split the parts it wasn't able to do. Be warned, if you see a bunch of blueberries, it might be attracting bears. Bears like to hang out around blueberries, so watch your step. You can make little pits like this, have some sort of crops on it or berry bushes, and it will attract animals. And there's a chance that they'll just come on in and be stuck there for you to come and get them later. And the smaller animals will attract the bigger ones. So this could be a good source of getting fat. So I recommend throwing a couple of these down around your world, and it might even keep you around your base a little bit safer. Always keep ladders on you. Oh no, I fell. What will I ever do? Oh yeah, we can just ladder up to the top. This could save your life, so please do it. Torches in your inventory will last forever, so feel free to keep some on you. Also, When you have torches here, they only last about 48 hours. However, you can break them and then place them back down, and it'll reset the timer. So if you want to make torches last very long, that is one way to do it. Leather armor is pretty cheap, and it has 0 debuffs, while it offers a ton of protection. So it's highly recommended that you make this your first armor, then make specialized armors later on. Stone paths are super cheap and make you incredibly fast. So if you want to get around your base quickly, I definitely recommend you make some. So make sure to mark down all the traders, even though they kind of seem useless most of the time. Like, when am I ever going to buy any of this stuff? They have randomized stuff that you can sell to them, so that can be extremely useful when you're trying to gather a bunch of money. So don't forget to pin them. If you see perfect circles like this, and or on the map, sometimes it's harder to see, but there's a good chance that there'll be meteoric iron under it. Sometimes you'll have the stones here, the Suvite stones, and that'll be a good tell as well. If you noticed, glass is kind of expensive. So one way to stretch it out is to turn it into slabs. You place a saw right next to it, turn it into a slab, and it's still completely functional, will work for greenhouses, pretty much doubles your glass. Something that can be incredibly useful is knowing if a room is actually counted as a room. You type this command down here into your chat box, you press enter, and since everything is highlighted green, it does mean that this is a room. If I were to get rid of one of these, then do the command again, it is now no longer a room. And if I want to get rid of this, we do unhigh instead of high. So that's an easy way to tell if your room is a room. So I hope this helped you guys. If you stayed this long, please consider leaving a like or subscribe. See you next time.